Hello, my name is Lou Redman. I'm a meditation artist, life coach, and a friend on your journey. And today I want to share with you a trap that many get into and how you can avoid it. And by the end of this, I'm also going to share a very important question that can help you think about how to make decisions and what to do in your life. Most learned this script for a good life. You graduate, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, you retire. And then, if all that is complete and successful, you will be happy. How has that script worked out for you? What most find is that that script is a lie and that we don't ever arrive at happiness. Why? Suffering is trying to get somewhere you will never find. Culture conditions us that happiness is somewhere down the yellow brick road. Embedded in the US Constitution is this encouragement to pursue happiness. But future happiness is an illusion. We may know that intellectually we don't arrive at happiness, but finding and putting that into practice is a little difficult. And so the first step is resisting the culture that our modern society puts on us to hit goals, to meet outcomes, and to get to the next thing. See, what these things are outcome focused. And this is getting to the trap that we're in, is that when we fall into outcome focused, we are in the trap of in order to, doing things in order to get to the next thing. You pick a major that makes the most money in order to set yourself up for success down the road. You go to a job that you don't like, but looks good on a resume in order to set yourself up for some future excess. You go to that job in order to make money, save up for some sort of retirement, because then you'll be happy. And this even happens when we're working out. Some people, we work out in order to look a certain way. I see people in my field writing a book not because they really have a passion and excitement for the idea that they want to share, but because they think of what it's going to bring them. They're doing it in order to charge more for their services or be credible in some way that they don't feel they are now. And there's nothing wrong with this, but what could we have received if they had not put their energy? I'm not judging. I'm grieving what could have been. What if they focused on what was most alive in their heart? What gift would the world have received? There's nothing wrong with in order to thinking, but we're missing the point. We're missing life. All great teachings show us and teach us, the wisest teachings teach us that the presence of God is right here in this moment, here and now. It's a breath, it's a connection, it's an awareness away. And so the book may be good that this person wrote, but does it have the activation of spirit? I'm guilty of this in order to thinking as much as anyone. I want to do this content right here to grow a YouTube channel or grow my newsletter, as if that's going to bring me something that I don't have, right? In order to get somewhere. And this thinking can lead us into a lot of disappointment and can lead us again to missing what is right in front of us. We have to understand this tightrope to strive for growth, but also appreciate where we are. Because what we give our attention to, we energize. When we do something in order to, it's like our energy is split between the moment and what we're doing and what we hope it will bring. This is like having an electric vehicle with the capacity of 2 batteries, but only using 1. You may get to your destination, but it's going to take you longer and you're going to end up using more energy. And so, Lou, what is the antidote to this in order to culture that we live in? And it's another 4-syllable word: for its own sake. Doing something for its own sake puts that second car battery online, and it opens us an energy channel. It allows us to fully access the potential of our creativity. It allows us to access our subconscious faculties that aren't accessible if our energy is split. And so with more energy channeled into the moment, we grow the opportunity of what can grow. Because remember, what we give our attention to, we energize. And we got to understand that we don't know exactly when things are going to blossom, which is why it's important to focus on the process. Right? For its own sake brings us into the process rather than the outcome. And as you focus on the process, you're going to feel more fulfilled, and you're going to actually enjoy the thing more, and others are going to feel that energy. Charles Freely writes in his book, The Will to Do Nothing, authentic creation, in whatever form it takes, is fully complete in the act itself, because it has arisen from the current, and it is experienced as beautiful because it reminds the beholder of the current within them. Charles points out to what makes a great song send chills up your spine. There's this resonance of truth that's felt because it comes from a deeper place. We put ourselves in the way of that authentic creation. And whenever that creation shows up for you, when we do things for its own sake, the act of doing something is the joy of doing something. Ram Dass says that meditation changes your desires in the course of fulfilling them. The same could be said when we do things for their own sake. As you bring more presence to your work, your desire for the outcome disappears because the process is fulfilling and rewarding in itself. And I know some of you are going to be like, Lou, what about goals? Listen, I'm a life coach. I'm all about getting a vision together with a client, having an idea where we want to go. Once we have that vision mapped out, I then want the client to be unattached, because when they're unattached, then we bring the energy back in the moment. What often happens as they bring more energy into their life right now, they start to become more happier. They start to become freer. They start to have new ideas, and they start to enjoy the process. And it becomes less about getting to the goal because they realize that they're already there. They're already feeling happier, and that's what exactly they wanted. They wanted, or what they thought that the goal would bring them. And so it's not about throwing away goals. It's good. It's important to have, as I've said in a previous video, 6 paradoxes to live by. You can check it out right here. Is that boundaries breed creativity? That actually having some sort of structure is good. I like to think of it in driving. I love road trips. And so we have a destination to get to. I love waking up in the morning, grabbing a hot cup of coffee from some bougie, fancy coffee shop and hitting the road, listening to podcasts, music, books, and just enjoying the open road. I love it. Now, it would feel different if I didn't have a destination. Right? There's something about knowing that I am getting somewhere, that there is this kind of progress that I'm making in that journey that makes it seem really rewarding. If I just decided to drive for 8 hours randomly, I'm sure I could enjoy it, but there's something about knowing that I'm getting to a destination. Even though when I get there, I'm like, I kind of just want to go back and drive. And so don't give up destinations. They're important, but discern if you're doing it in order to get somewhere or for its own sake, and letting yourself enjoy whatever the process you're doing. Because remember, drudgery in any form is not a creative energy. Right now, I'm learning how to play the piano, and if I'm honest, at the beginning, I have the thought of, me being at a party and being like, bum, 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 playing my favorite songs, entertaining. I can be an entertainer. I like doing those things. And I had to let go of that pretty quickly. And I'm grateful I did, because I've really allowed myself to just enjoy just putting a little bit of time in each day, seeing my mind and my hands start to do things that they couldn't do the day before. And I'm finding that that's rewarding in itself. And really, in whatever your creative act or whatever the life that you're building, whatever it is, whatever your story is, it really is a lifetime journey, right? We're in it for the long game. It's the paradox of, life is short and it's long. And so we have to prepare for both. And so realizing, okay, if you're practicing something, how can you find a way to let yourself enjoy the process rather than having to get somewhere? A quick way to think about the two pieces we mentioned today. In order to is about taking advantage. You see an opportunity, what it can give you, and you exploit it. And in doing so, you feel strain and scarcity. For its own sake is about becoming advantaged. You move from what David Hawkins calls force into power. And in that power, you access a more potent creative energy. And in that process, you feel ease and abundance. And so where do you go from here? Well, first work to change as many in order to's in your life to for its own sakes, to bring a presence, even if it's so simple as dinner. So often we can make a mindless dinner that we've made a bunch of times, and we're doing it just to get the food on the table and sustain ourselves. But what if we shift it, and instead of doing it in order to feed ourselves, we'll get there, that's a destination, but for its own sake. And this is a primal act of mixing salt, fat, acid, heat, and just enjoying it. If you read most of these kind of legendary mindfulness books like Thich Nhat Hanh, he talks about just the joy of washing dishes to wash dishes, or carry wood and chop water, that there is just this life, daily life is enough of a practice for us, is enough of an enjoyment for us if we can slow down and see it. And then this next question, I'll finally get to this powerful question that I promised you in the beginning, is in thinking about how to structure your life, or if you're thinking about making a change or creating a project, or really going for something that feels a little scary, ask yourself this question. What would you do if you knew it would fail? You heard that right. What would you do if you knew it would fail? I learned this question from Seth Godin, and I love it because it cuts right through into for its own sake. Because when you ask that question, underneath it, you're asking, what is worth my time? What is worth doing, even if it doesn't work out? What is where I would actually enjoy? I'm still enjoying the process of doing that thing. And then what's the ironic part is that when you do things in that nature, it has a greater potential to work out in the long term. So what would you do if you knew you would fail? Let me know by leaving a comment. I'd love to hear from you. If you got any value out of this video, subscribe to my channel. If you're new, I share videos like this every week or so, and would love to continue sharing on this journey with you, sending lots of love and support, and may you work on doing things for their own sake. Take care.